Again, America. In my last video, I described the Andrew Cuomo instituted New York State assault weapons ban law. In this video, I shall clarify the California answer to this law, their implementation of a new assault weapons ban law package. I might have been unclear on the overall purpose of this law, but at the end of me explaining the California rebuttal, I shall in fact expose the nature of both of these laws. Without further ado, let us move on to an abbreviated version of the California assault weapons ban. Section 1. All users and owners must report ammo purchases. A maximum of 500 rounds is to be allotted to the end user. For them to implement this requires that they have in place a background check system for ammunition purchases. This, in fact, is an erosion of our constitutional right to self-defense and our right to keep and bear arms. This will only lead to illegal search and seizure. It is a form of backdoor registration under the auspices of taxation and background checks. A little bit more on this later. Specialty ammunition types such as hollow points shall be furthermore recognized as quote-unquote assault ammunition and will be a crime to possess. This, if the camera will focus, is a hunting round. This is 45-70. This particular type is a polymer-tipped hollow point. I bring this to full view to announce the fact that this is not assault ammunition. There, in fact, is no such thing within the lexicon of small arms use, not just for the United States, but for all nations, that there is no form of assault ammunition. Ammunition has express purposes to be used within the firearm of its designation. This particular bullet was designed to not over-penetrate its target. That is the reason for hollow points. This does not penetrate armor. This does not have any special properties other than the fact that the bullet expands to prevent over-penetration. It is to protect your backstop and to protect anything behind your intended target. It is designed not for any other purpose than to preserve that around your target. It is meant to expand within the target. This is not some assault ammunition. This is not some magical thinking. This is a proven scientific fact and the reason that we have ammunition types. Full metal jacket is used by our military and used as training ammunition for its explicit purposes of cost effectiveness on a secured backstop for civilian and law enforcement use as training ammunition. It is used by our military due to the Geneva Convention. As stated, for small arms, be they civilian, police, or military, there is no such thing as assault ammunition. There is only ammunition intended for the use, proper use, in the firearm designated by its caliber. This is a way for them to conduct their illegal search and seizure. Possession of hunting rounds would become a crime within the state of California. Possession of defensive rounds would become a crime in the state of California. This is not a means to protect the citizenry or reduce violence. This is a means to criminalize those who are already abiding by the law of both facets of the law, rather I should say, both the spirit and the letter of the law. They are within their rights to own, maintain, use, and in the case of ammunition, manufacture. The blockage of sales And furthermore, discrimination of, i.e. to make illegal, of any ammunition type available to the civilian market is unjust and illegal market control at its least. That is what is to be taken as at face value. Behind this face value, we see it is merely a tool to criminalize those that the California state government sees as unfit or undesirable. 100% prohibition of all magazines greater than 10 rounds. All previous grandfathered magazines become illegal. It is a felony to own, possess, or distribute one. During the original 1994 nationwide assault weapons ban, California instituted its own version afterwards, after it sunsetted, that continued the California tradition of keeping magazines greater than 10 rounds out of their state, excepting police and law enforcement. If one looks at the Heller decision, this is already unconstitutional. But the fact of the matter lies that the magazines that were in the possession, which were greater than 10 rounds, were perfectly legal by both letter and spirit of law. This proposed bill, this proposed law, states that items purchased during the due recourse of the law are now, in fact, illegal post fact. This is unconstitutional, to say the least. This is morally reprehensible, and it should be criminally punishable. I will have to look upon the law to see if it is. Passing post-fact laws, I do believe, is criminally punishable within the United States of America. Bullet buttons will become illegal. All AR, AK, and other semi-automatic rifles currently equipped with them will be designated as assault weapons and thus a felony to possess. All magazines must be fixed to the firearm, cannot be removed without the use of a tool. Alright, during the California assault weapons ban, the original one, the bullet button was intended for users to require that they use a tool to remove their magazine, a specialized tool. Now I bring this up for the fact that rifles or other arms, such as pistols or shotguns, without a removable magazine, a quote-unquote non-removable magazine, oftentimes, I will venture to say the majority of times, can actually be removed with a tool such as an Allen wrench, a screwdriver, or a specialized tool. There is no difference between an AR-15 or an AK pattern firearm or any other pattern firearm such as an M14 or even that of an M1 Garand that has either a externally removable magazine or an internally removable magazine body. The only difference between the two is the tool used to remove it. In the case of the Garand, it is literally the front trigger assembly. In the case of the M1, it is the front trigger assembly. That separates the action from the body. They're basically stating that, yet again, anything owned under both spirit and letter of law is post-fact illegal and in fact a felony to possess. This is unconstitutional. Let's see. All gun owners must be licensed like drivers. We see this argument rather often levied against those of us who are pro-Second Amendment. There's a problem with this argument on a legal level, and there is a problem with this on a debate level. On the debate level, it literally is the same on both counts. In the Bill of Rights, it is codified, ratified, and solidified that you, a free citizen of the United States, have a right to keep and bear arms for defense of both yourself, your state, and your nation. For them to say that we must license this such as a privilege as opposed to a right, such as that of owning a vehicle, is not only debatably wrong, i.e. wrong in the state of a true, honest, open intellectual debate, but is also wrong upon a legal recourse level. There is no amendment and there is no codification for the ownership of a vehicle to be a right. You do have the right to safe transport, but within that right, there is no specific written codification that the vehicle must be of your possession. That is, by definition, a privilege to own a vehicle. It is a privilege, not a right. It is not definable as a right. It is not defendable as a right. The ownership to keep and bear arms is legally and constitutionally defendable as a right, an inalienable right available to all free citizens. All firearms owners must carry firearms liability insurance. This, in turn, is unjust taxation without representation. This is precisely why our War for Independence was fought, as well as our Civil War. This, too, is unconstitutional. This is essentially strong-arm tactics used to enforce the will of the state, not of the people. This is not a bill or law which enforces the beliefs or held constitutional rights of we the people. This is extortion. There is also a bill which changes the definition of a shotgun cylindrical magazine. In essence, this states that a standard pump-action shotgun, most often used for hunting as well as self-defense, is by their codified law an assault weapon. A similar shotgun which uses a true revolving cylinder, such as, say, the Circuit Judge or other firearms by Taurus, are treated as assault weapons, even though they are no more useful than standard over-unders, side-by-sides, or pump-action shotguns. No shotgun should be codified as an assault weapon. No rifle purchasable by a civilian should be codified as an assault weapon, and no pistol purchasable by a citizen should be codified as an assault weapon. They are not. They are intended for recreation, hunting, self-defense. When this was announced, Police Chief Ken James stated that, quote unquote, the implementation of a firearm is not a defensive purpose. It is intended by his own police department. This is by his own words. The use of a firearm by the police department is not for any express purpose other than to intimidate and show power. Okay, let's take a look at this. He has stated by his own admission that the firearms under employ of his police unit, his jurisdiction, are used to intimidate and show power. One doesn't have to crack open a thesaurus to read between the lines and understand what he means by his own words, by definition. Intimidate, to make timid, or to instill fear, to show power. That is the definition of dominance, domination. He is stated by his own volition and Webster's Dictionary's own wording that his position of power within the state of California is that to terrorize, i.e. to intimidate, and to dominate. By his own words, caught on film, which I will provide a link down below to the footage, which has been unaltered, he has stated that police control under his administration is that to terrorize and dominate. He has wholeheartedly admitted to the nation that he is in fact a terrorist, that he uses terror tactics. I don't know about you, but I find this rather disturbing. This can be coupled with a quote from Michael Bloomberg. Quote unquote, "I have the 7th largest army in the world." That is to say, the LAPD. Michael Bloomberg is the 12th richest man in the United States of America, and by his own words, he stated that he has the 7th largest army available to him. There is a problem with this. Police actions and police officers are never to be used in times of war. They are to keep, maintain, and uphold public trust and civil duty. They are civil servants. They are not soldiers. That is not an army. For either of these two officials to use them as such is wholly unconstitutional and punishable. When I said I would clarify the true nature of both of these laws, both California and New York, after stating all of these laws and their implications, can wholeheartedly say that this is an action by a political group to disarm, unconstitutionally disarm and subjugate its people. This is an illegal act of civilian disarmament. It is wholly unconstitutional, and it is morally reprehensible. I cannot, by law, condone or commission civil disobedience through abstinence or ignoring these laws. I cannot condone that you break these laws. I cannot do it by legal recourse, and I cannot do it in good conscience. But I can, in good conscience and in the spirit and letter of the law, endorse fighting these laws in court. I can wholeheartedly endorse fighting both of these laws through the proper legal channels. And I do endorse fighting both of these laws through the proper legal channels. To any lawyer who may see this within the state, see this video, if you reside within the state of California or the state of New York, if you wish to secure your names for both your firm and yourself in the history books and ensure a clientele which is nationwide as well as persistent, I would fight these cases. It is proven by the state constitutions of both California and New York that these are unconstitutional. And it is proven by our own Constitution and Bill of Rights that these are legally actionable laws. These are not laws per se. Unconstitutional law is not law. This is pretty much an open and shut case, and any lawyer wise enough to take these cases will not just ensure financial well-being for themselves and their firm, but a constant clientele, a sustainable clientele. To be 100% honest, if this work is done even pro bono, this case stands to be every bit as large as the Heller decision, and within the lexicon of American law, every bit as decisive as the Roe v. Wade case. This means to any lawyer who would take this that you ensure not only your financial well-being, but the financial well-being for your children and your grandchildren and future generations to come. I wholeheartedly encourage fighting these laws upon the courtrooms. Take it to the Supreme Court. Fight this with the utmost ability. I will provide links below to the video referencing, actually showing, Police Chief Ken James stating that firearms under his jurisdiction and his unit's use are used to, quote unquote, intimidate and show power. As well, I'll provide my usual links to contact your senator and congressman, as well as the president himself in any letter that you choose to write against these unconstitutional and morally incorrigible laws. I'll provide a link to Ruger's succinct yet well-worded letter that will ship to your congressman, your senator, and the president himself. And I'll also provide a link to PopVox as usual. This will allow you to see forthcoming bills for both the Congress and Senate, to know what is about to happen, what is at stake at all times. And I will provide a link to the NRA's legal arm, the NRA-ILA. Right now, it is very important that we support the legal arm of the NRA, more so than any arm of the NRA, for the fact that they are fighting for our rights as citizens, our inalienable, constitutionally protected rights. Our rights protect us as citizens. We must, in due diligence, do everything within our power to protect them. I thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. Stay positive, America. I will catch you later.